Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse review. Non-spoiler edition. Maybe when I go and see this a second time, which is probably going to happen, I'll do the spoiler. Wow, what a visual spectacle. I'm going to start with the artwork as it stands out the hardest, the most obvious. It's the most obvious thing anybody could probably say about this movie. What a visual spectacle. I feel like I just saw an amazing piece of art, period, because of the way that it was made. The animation style, crossing all kinds of barriers, Lego stop motion, like a paper, like 2D figures. Apparently I don't know how to get out of this parking lot. The traditional spider stuff from the first Spider-Verse movie. I'm trying to think. Sorry. Never feel great about trying to film and go somewhere. I'm trying to think of better examples. The character designs. We're not just talking about a team of 6, right? This group of Spider-Men that we see, every concept that I think I've ever even been privy to in some capacity. Like, there's even a cameo of one of the Spider-Man cartoons that wasn't even all that popular. I forget which one it was called. It was a 2D animated one. It came out just before the Ultimate Spider-Man comic or cartoon that was out. I couldn't believe the amount of cameos in relation, Easter eggs, spider eggs. There's so much beautiful art. The storyline was good. I didn't necessarily have any particular idea how things were going to go. Some, hints here and there that alludes to and it lays out slowly and steadily. The dialogue. The dialogue was great. All the Spider-Men are just witty and entertaining. It's amazing. It's almost, as much as I enjoy it, I could see somebody thinking it would be exhausting with how fast-paced it was. Because the movie was just go, 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 go the whole time. There was only a few slower spots, and those were taken with care. I need to take a left up there. I'm very surprised, and not that it was a good movie, but how the dialogue went, how unpredictable it was at most of the movie. Again, the tiny bits that I would say I had an idea of, I was probably only a little bit in advance. It was snappy as crap. As if that was a thing. The music, oh my gosh. I can only imagine how popular the album of this soundtrack is. This soundtrack has got to be selling like hotcakes on the digital streams. That'd be a great thing to look into. How is the Spider-Man soundtrack doing? It's got to be like Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack levels. The overall twist, the storyline twist that I think might have been that 0.618 mark, which I talk about. In all art, there is a phi. There is a climactic point And typically, if you take the runtime of a piece of music, the runtime of a movie, multiply it by 0.618, you wind up with a climactic point, the catalyst that alters and shifts the rest of the movie. And I'm pretty sure I know what it was. No spoilers on this particular video, but I'll double check that on the next viewing. Sorry if I seem tired. I'm tired. I'm enthusiastic that I got to see Spider-Man within 5 days of its opening, and I would have loved to have been there opening night, but life, such is life. I don't know. I feel like the overall trip that Miles Morales takes throughout the movie, that sense of belonging that he desperately needs, that is mirrored with Gwen Stacy, whose technical story it is. This movie, although really about Miles Morales in so many ways, has been adapted in the sequel to be a Gwen Stacy story. Like, she is the bookends. It's her story this time. So perhaps from that perspective, we're getting, maybe in the third one, although about Miles, a new take and a new perspective for the third one. That would be interesting, because they've already done two. We get the cameos of all the characters in some capacity that we had from the first one. Not as integral to the 6 of the first one, or 8, or how many ever there was, in relation to how much they show up in this one. A couple of them only show up in moments even. There's an awesome little surprise in relation to one of the characters from the first movie. The Spider-Verse has a good explanation as to its existence and how it connects and affects across the Spider-Verse at large. Has, if anybody's ever heard of them, a comic series that I liked reading and I've reread a couple times, called The Exiles. If you know what The Exiles are, you can understand the comparison between that and the Spider-Verse movie. And I gotta say, multiverse, although a lot of concepts have been using it, everything everywhere all at once, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, we're about to get the Flashpoint, which is multiverse, and this Spider-Man movie it's all just, it's fascinating to have this much conversation about multiple universes. I wonder why they're bringing it to light. Speculative. The voice acting overall was all on point. There wasn't any. Hey, look, a deer, just there. There wasn't any wooden dialogue, even though I can't imagine there being. I don't feel like the jokes landed funny. I thought that they all hit. Whenever there was a need for real emotion in the movie, it was there. The family element, multiple family elements in relation to each Spider-Man and each of their families, and how not knowing affects their families independently in different ways, but similar. It's fascinating, and I'm a hardcore Spider-Man fan. I have been since I was little. I've always enjoyed the dialogue. I've always enjoyed his personal struggles. I've always enjoyed his catalog of villains. And in this movie, although there are villains, the main antagonist will surprise you, because it comes across different, without necessarily having a centralized villain per se. That was one of the most amazing aspects of the entire movie. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. There are villains, but there isn't a big bad villain per se. That's going to come in the third one. for sure. There's going to be a big bad. Maybe that's a little spoilery. Yeah, I'm genuinely I could see too, as pretty as the movie is and as well as it flows and as snappy as it was and everything, the art and the colors can be a little much for the eyes. Like, there's so much going on in the foreground and the background. Some of the backgrounds look like splash paintings. The way that they outline characters, the way they even change the form of the ones that we know and how they actually exist in their own universe, and then they take these long camera shots and then give them kind of like a new sketch because there's emotion to the tone of that scene. It's fascinating. And Miles Morales, such an endearing character. Like, every Spider-Man has that wit and charm and everything, but he really is just a charming character. Miles has so much natural character and gravitas, in the sense of, like, you love this guy. I mean, that's I guess hyperbole, but like, you really do. You really want to make sure that he's okay. You want to make sure that his universe is going well. You want to make sure, like, you really root for Miles. And the way that he fights people and the way that he talks and everything, it's obviously Spider-Man style and everything. But there's a lot of heart to it, and you really get attached to Miles. Even if you weren't already. Like, weird question. Will this movie stand alone? To a degree, it can stand alone. It has some beginning, middle, and end, but that end, as it is a part 1 of 2 to complete a trilogy, I'd say it goes out on an Empire Strikes Back kind of feel, where it's like, there's a story there, but you know there's more coming, because there's more to be had in the furthering of this trilogy. I believe I saw that the next one comes out in March. This could become, I mean, I think I'd heard this could become one of the best trilogies, not just animated, even though it would already strike that boundary easily, but one of the best trilogies of all time. It could honestly get up there. It has great characters, great design, great music, great story, great dialogue. This movie will, unless something comes out that is just superb, this movie's going to win the Best Animated Oscar. But that's a small category. There's not a lot of movies that can compete in that category. That's one of those cop-out categories. The real test is if it gets nominated for Best Picture. This could be a good year for animation, in that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse could get nominated for Best Picture. That would be amazing, and that would be a great barrier breaker. And then maybe the Oscars can contend that animated movies, although having its own category is cool, if they can contend on a story level with regular movies, then why have barriers? If that's the case, why don't we have Best Comedy and Best Horror and Best, all these genre films? Animated is just a small section of the entire year. But this is a really good movie, and I think it'll get some It might. I mean, it'd probably get the cinematography, I suppose. I don't know about special effects, music and sound design, perhaps. Again, voice actors don't have the ability to get nominated. I've spoken to people that would crap on voice acting over regular acting because there's more that you do with the body. And yes, there is a good amount that you do with the human body overall when you're acting with your full self. But It's not harder. It's just a different type of acting to use only your voice to convey everything. But we're getting visually stimulated by all the other stuff, so. Go see this. This is a 10 out of 10. This is a go see it in theater kind of movie. I would love to see this kind of movie make $1 billion. Like, this is better than Spider-Man Homecoming, No Way Home, whatever the third one was. The third one was good. It had some cool qualities, but the nostalgia made me mad. The back padding made me mad. And it was my personal, subjective opinion in that. It was upsetting how much they used certain things. This movie has glimpses of those things and does not overuse any of it. But you get some cameos of all Spider-Verses. All Spider-Verses. There is some crossover, real people stuff. That was a fantastic pull. And there's even an additional Easter egg. Later this year, I've already been spoiled that Nicolas Cage is going to show up in Batman Flash because he was supposed to be Superman. And he is going to be Superman in the Flash as just a brief moment. And they did something like that in this Spider-Man movie about an actor who was supposed to be, according to the rumors, a specific character. And he showed up. He showed up as that specific character and was like, wow, you guys really pull deep. Like, you get all kinds of spider mythology. Voice cast is insane. You got, gosh, if I could just rattle off all the names. Haley Steinfeld. You got Mahershala Ali. Oh, I wish I could. And Jake Johnson's back. The dude that played in Deadpool as the cab driver, he has a fun spider character. Oh gosh, Daniel Kaluuya. He has a cool spider character that a lot of people were pretty excited for. Is that Punk Spider-Man? Like, there's so many great voice casts. Yeah, I think that's all. I've already been talking for 17 minutes, so I should stop. This is the non-spoiler review. So, go see it. 10 out of 10. Check it out in theater. It's worth the money. I went on a Tuesday and I spent $6 on my viewing. Go to your local movie theater on a day where it's cheap if you want to save a couple bucks. If you want to support the movie theater overall, buy popcorn and pop, because that's what keeps the lights on. And other than that, like, subscribe, favorite, all those things, because this is a YouTube video after all. Check out some of my other spoiler and non-spoiler discussions. I would love to hear conversation about these movies. Even if you hated the movie, tell me why. That would be fascinating. I would love to hear why the movie wasn't good to you, or why the movie was good to you. But check it out, share it, and then to the next review. Maybe I'll do, like I said, a spoiler one when I see it again. So until then, don't have a good day. Have a great one.